a warm hand to Ken and Brian.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for having us here, and thank you for getting up early and spending the morning with us. As he said, my name is Brian Fleming. I'm one of the founders at Sucker Punch, and I'm the producer of Infamous 2. And for those of you who don't know us, I promise I'll keep the intro part short. Sucker Punch has been working with Sony for more than 10 years. Our relationship started during the Sly Cooper franchise. We did 3 games there, and the standout performance, I think, of the entire international world was Finland with Sly Cooper. I think the combination of the fact that we localized it into Finnish and its age target has always made that connection between Sucker Punch and Scandinavia that much stronger. So we're really glad. Hopefully there's some folks here from Finland, and we can say hi to their guests in the back.
I bought 15 copies.
Thank you. Well, whoever you are, you must be on our website a lot, because the web traffic from Finland is like number 3 in the world for our site, which is awesome. And so we worked on the Sly Cooper series of games for about 6 years, and about 5 years ago we began work on the Infamous series. And this today we're going to introduce to you the second in that series of games, Infamous 2. And I think the right way to transition off of that is just to start off with a trailer that we call The Quest for Powers.
You think I'm ready for this?
Way I see it, there's basically 2 types of people. All stubborn guys like me. We may not like the hell that happens to us, but we deal with it. There are guys like you.
This is gonna be a short-term visit, man. We're just gonna get in. I'm gonna get some new powers. Zeke, I got it.
So, what happened?
I actually think I might have a new power.
Really? Come on, let's see what you got. Cheers, brother. Half as long.
Twice as bright.
So at Sucker Punch, we think that's the best trailer we've ever had for one of our games, so we're very proud of it. And the important part to me about that trailer is that it sets up 3 of the important things I wanted to talk to you about today. The first is a question we get a lot when we're out visiting, especially people who we haven't seen a lot, and we haven't been back to Scandinavia for 2 years. The first question is the evolution of Cole himself. You notice that he's wearing a short sleeve shirt, has a new weapon. All these are important changes that relate to the narrative and to the I'll try and stand in the light. That's good. They relate to the narrative, where Cole's going. They relate to the way we've enhanced his powers, and they relate to some of the underlying realities of making this video game. So I'll take all 3 of those. The first is that he's gone down to a city, an imaginary city in the southwest, or southeast, I should say, of the United States. It's a much warmer climate. You'll see all the pedestrians are dressed for temperatures that might be, 25 C, so it's much warmer, so the jacket would be inappropriate from the first game. The second thing is he's carrying a weapon in the back, the amp. You saw him use it a few times. One of the the initiatives for us on this game was to really think about what we wanted to improve from the last game, and certainly one of my favorite parts of almost any video game is hand-to-hand melee combat, and I think in particular for a superhero game, that's an important area for us, and I think that we have really taken a big step forward there. And when we talked about what we wanted to do with melee in the game, we couldn't escape the idea that if you had electrical powers to fight somebody, having something metal in your hands to conduct electricity through really made a lot of sense. So we invented the amp weapon that he carries with him. And third is there's actually been, and some people have even noticed this, some facial structure changes to him. One of the real initiatives for this game was doing high quality cutscenes and presentation of the game. And the facial structure of the last game wouldn't have held up to this kind of scrutiny, getting him extremely close and close up. His proportions weren't exactly right, so we had to actually evolve his face to be much more realistic and much more of a real person, and it lets him emote in a more believable way. So lots of changes to Cole, but he's still our guy. He's still the guy you met in Empire City. The second part of this trailer is they're talking about this journey down to New Marray. So the story for Infamous 2 basically continues from where Infamous 1 ended. Let's see, how many people here know the ending of Infamous 1? I just want to make sure. Okay, how many people do not? Okay, plug your ears right now. So, when he got that vision of the future from Kessler, or I won't spoil it. When he got the vision from Kessler, it was foretold that he was going to face this beast, this sort of civilization-destroying beast. And in fact, at the very beginning of Infamous 2, you will face this beast, and Cole will lose. Cole will be defeated. And so it's a little bit odd to start a game with kind of a big battle that you end up being defeated in, but that's the prime motivation for Cole. He's going to go down to New Marray to the creator of the technology that gave him his powers. And he's going there to help amplify his own abilities. He needs to learn how to be even better than he is. He's already a guy with superpowers, but he needs to improve himself. So they leave and go to the city of New Marray. And New Marray, for us, is an important change. We had a sort of a New York-inspired city for the first game. Here, we're drawing inspiration from a lot of different cities around the world, and we've set it in an area close to New Orleans, which is a Gulf Coast city in the United States, because that city draws from so many different architectural styles. It has an area that's known as the French Quarter, which is very clearly inspired by Paris and the architecture of that region. We have a lot of organics, we have a lot of swamps, we have a lot of trees and moss and very organic shapes. We also have a lot of heavy industry there, so you'll see in certain missions a very industrial look. And this is a much greater variety than we've done in previous games. So for us, it's very exciting to see that newness and the novelty of the city. But ultimately, the city is there to do one thing, and that is to support Cole and his adventure. And if you played the first game, you know that he is a climber. He climbs on everything. We've spent some time on the various stops on this tour trying to identify what the appropriate word is in each language for what we would call in America a jungle gym. And a jungle gym is a climbing structure that children play on. And as a side note, interestingly, the climbing gym that my kids play on at the park next to my house was actually made in Denmark, the Kompan company. So there's a kind of interesting little, you guys make the climbing structure for my kids, and hopefully we will make a climbing structure for some of your kids. So it's kind of nice, we can pay you back. So the climbing structure for Cole is the city, and we've worked on enhancements and improvements to that system. It was a good system in the last game, and I believe we've turned it into a great system. You have the sort of effortless ascension, climbing all over the world, and of course the extremely popular grinding across wires and doing the float jumps between buildings. And it's just a big part of what makes, I think, the hand feel of the game really special. So the city first and foremost has to serve that. It has to have variety, and it's of course a big part of our narrative that the beast is coming down. And as this trailer talked about, this is a quest for Cole to get powers. And at the very end, when he is sitting with his friend Zeke and they say twice as bright and half as long, in Cole's hand is what's called a blast core. And that is basically a storage unit for this race for your energy that can enhance Cole's powers. And when you saw him, when he said, "Zeke, I've got it," he's actually drawing that energy into himself, and that's how he enhances his abilities as the game goes on. So, you know, that sort of leads me to the powers, and I think as the trailer shows fairly clearly, there is another sort of level of power that Cole is achieving in this game. There's all the base powers you were familiar with in the last game. You start this game with those. So you're not going to end up going back and struck by lightning and you forgot everything. You're going to start off with all of the basic powers from the last game. And each of those will, again, be upgradable on different karmic paths. So if you're playing the game as a hero who is a law and order hero and is very good, you'll have upgrades along that path. If you're playing it as a very destructive hero, then you'll have upgrades that are more appropriate for that. It's a very similar structure to the last game, but we've introduced a whole new layer, which is what we call the ionic powers. And you've seen in here, he throws a giant ionic vortex, almost a tornado of sorts. You saw him use the ionic freeze, the big ice power that he used. You saw the ionic drain, where he pulled all the energy from all the surrounding people into him. Also heals him. All of those are the special ionic powers. And that's a big enhancement, I think, in terms of scale and just the overall level of power that Cole has.